What's up, Browns fans? Welcome to the Dawgs podcast. Let's kick this thing off.
Welcome to the Dawgs podcast with your hosts Blake Reneker, Zach Kopp, Justin Charles, and Josh All.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. We're officially 1 week out of NFL football. Couldn't be more pumped. Not even a week. We got, games on Thursday?
We got a game on Thursday, yes.
Yeah, get to see the Super Bowl champs.
Yep.
That's pretty crazy. I didn't even know if we were going to get to this point. So the fact that we're going to be talking, we're going to be talking about an actual Browns opponent today on this show.
Yes.
I couldn't be more excited.
Yeah. We definitely got some, I think we're going to get into a lot of good content, previewing games, talking about games.
Yeah. If you're new to the show, this is when you want to start watching the show, because as the season starts going, I feel like it's going to really pick up when we have actual games to talk about. When Baker throws 4 picks in a game and we're all super irritated about it, this is going to be a really fun show as the season progresses. Before we dive into this episode, make sure you check us out on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. Helps us out a lot. A lot of league news this week. It was kind of like a quiet off season with the COVID stuff, and then 1 week before the season, just tons of stuff happening around the league.
Yeah, I think roster cut downs really, spark a lot of that activity, because teams are kind of scrambling last minute. Like, okay, instead of cutting a guy, can we get a trade for him? Because other teams might say, let me have him, before you just drop him or whatever, and he's a free for all.
Yep. And it's kind of crazy. Like, roster cut downs just happened, and we got a game this week. I feel like with it, it's so compacted. It doesn't feel real that we have real football coming up this week.
That was the lack of the preseason. I feel like it just snuck up, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, this is week 1. Oh
yeah.
Boy.
Wait, wow. Like, I thought we were just doing this Browns podcast just for fun. I didn't know we were actually going to have games to talk about.
We're going to do some stuff too.
We were pretty confident the whole time since we've been doing this podcast, but there was still that, shredded doubt, like, are we going to play games?
Right.
Yes.
So, one of the first things, when I was typing this thing up last night, some league news, Adrian Peterson released, and I typed in, is this the end of an era? And fast forward 12 hours later, signed by the Lions this morning. The guy just won't go away.
Yeah.
Does he do anything for the Lions?
I sure hope not, because if he does, he just ruined my backup running back in fantasy. I thought DeAndre Swift was going to be this breakout star. Maybe not. Maybe I drop him today or send you guys a trade. Maybe you want to trade me nobody for him. I don't know.
I think obviously they plan on he's going to get some work if they didn't sign him for no reason. But how much does the guy got left in the tank? The last 2 years, though, for the Redskins, I was surprised they cut him. He was solid.
Yeah, so I looked up his stats. Yeah, last 2 years, 2018, rushed for 1,000 yards, had 7 touchdowns. Then he was kind of banged up last year at times, but he still played 15 games, 898 yards, 5 touchdowns. So,
dude's got 1,800 yards the last 2 years.
He's a Hall of Fame.
At 34, so he's 35 going into this season.
Yep.
See, and so they have Kerryon Johnson, and everybody knows that he's not going to make a full season. He never has. He can't. He's going to get injured. He's already been injured in camp. And now Swift already showing some injuries in camp.
He's also hurt.
I don't know if this kind of sheds some light that maybe those injuries are more worrisome than they let on, or if they're just, insurance policy.
Yep.
Would any of us be surprised, though, like, say those guys get hurt and Adrian Peterson becomes the starter, the full-time starter, and the dude, like, somehow rips off 1,200 yards?
Oh,
not at all.
Not surprising. Okay, so another big key, I think, in where he signed is his former offensive coordinator, Darren Bevel. Was his offensive coordinator in Minnesota.
Absolutely.
Never had fewer than, I had the stat, let me find it. Never had fewer than 1,200 yards rushing or 10 touchdowns. So almost 1,300 yards rushing, 1,298. Never had fewer than that in the 4 seasons that they were together.
I get the dude's 35, but he's just like, it's almost like he's like the Tom Brady of running backs. Yep. He just keeps coming back and just keeps producing somehow. Definitely, in my opinion, first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah, there was an article out there because it was pretty much penciled in a couple weeks ago. He was going to be the guy in Washington. Like, it was kind of, and he came out and he said, he wants that all-time leading rusher. He wants the all-time leading rusher in yards. That's what he wants. He said, I'll play into my 40s. I don't care. Like, that's what he wants. And he's sitting at 14, 216. Emmitt Smith is the leader at 18,355, so he's 4,000 yards off.
So, I mean, he's at least 4 years away.
Yeah.
That's going to be tough. But if he says he's going to play till 40, how crazy that'd be.
Yeah, it'd be insane.
Meanwhile, Frank Gore's over there with his walker going, I can do it.
Yeah,
Frank Gore,
he's another one, man.
He's sitting
will.
at 15. He's got 1,000. He's got 1,100 more yards than Adrian Peterson has. And Frank Gore, he's one of those guys that right now, like, I don't even know if you guys know where he's playing.
New York Jets. He's going to be taking Le'Veon Bell's carries, they're saying. 60-40 split, they're saying.
Yeah, so
it's crazy.
He's a guy that he's that guy that just kind of signed somewhere, kind of ho hum, like, and then you're like, can't keep him off the field. He's averaging 6 yards a carry right now.
It's crazy. Well, some more Browns related news, kind of. Jadeveon Clowney finally found a team signing with the Titans. Thank God, because I'm tired of hearing about this guy. I'm tired of hearing about this. Like, I'm going to call him slightly above average player, just thinking he's Khalil Mack or something. So just go to the Titans and go away, please. I'm tired of hearing about you.
I think he'll do well, though. He'll do well there.
He'll do well there with Mike Vrabel. Yeah, he'll do well on a team there. Yeah, he ended up signing 1 year, $15 million. So he kind of got the money he wanted. I think the Browns offered him a little more than that, though. On their first,
we gave him multiple years. I thought too.
Yeah, so he signed. He's one of those guys that comes off, at least with this whole situation, how he waited forever to sign. He's one that's got to be in control of everything. So he's a guy that's only probably going to sign a 1 year deal, and then what can I get next year? Or it just seems like that's the kind of route he's going to go going forward.
And it almost seemed too, like, I know we joke about the Browns have like a terrible history and stuff, but the way that he like turned his nose up at us, like, I'm not going to Cleveland. Like, screw you, man. Like, whatever. We don't want you here anyways. We got people, in my opinion, better than you right now anyways. So whatever. I don't know. I just became like a very big not Jadeveon Clowney fan over the summer. Well, hey, Deshaun Watson got paid 4 year, $160 million contract extension. Good for him. He's awesome.
Yep.
One big thing I took away from this, though, is when people were saying that Mahomes was going to set the QB market at like $550 million, the next guy was, I think we're going to see that nobody's in Mahomes. I mean, he's getting $39 million a year. So even if you stretch that to a 10-year extension, he's still $160 million short of what Mahomes is getting over 10 years.
Mahomes he's on a level all his own. I mean, and we talked about Lamar Jackson, how he won't come close to sniffing Mahomes' money.
No, this is more in line with what I would see from Lamar Jackson. I could see, or maybe it'll be a little more.
Might be a little more, but I mean, I think 4 years would be the max Lamar could get, because they're not going to invest or commit, 5-6 years to a mobile quarterback who's out there getting hit every play.
Let's see what he does this year. I mean, if he comes on, he's very average, then, Deshaun Watson is a baller.
Yeah.
Right. He's a winner.
But I could see, Deshaun almost, when I saw that, I thought, I would have thought maybe it'd be 5 years, 6 maybe. They gave him 4, but he's also got the same sort of, concerns the way he plays. He takes hits, he's moving, he's injury, puts himself at risk.
And their offensive line sucks.
Very much so.
So, okay, here's another take on this. Is it smart that Deshaun Watson signed all this money knowing that he doesn't have DeAndre Hopkins to throw to this year? Does that hurt him?
No, I think he's the kind of quarterback. He'll make everybody around him better.
You think?
I hope.
We'll see. I think DeAndre Hopkins is very special and
listen, I agree,
makes a lot of catches that most guys don't make.
It's probably good for him to take this deal before the season,
Yeah.
without having Hopkins out there.
Yep.
Because Fuller won't play the whole year.
No,
Brandon Cooks probably won't. No.
Right.
So I don't know who they got.
Hey, go
Kenny
easy on
Stills?
Fuller. I'm going to really need Fuller this year.
He needs Fuller to be the
I need Fuller to step into that number one spot,
So the interesting thing, though, is, Deshaun Watson could really thank Cleveland for this contract in a way.
Oh, boy.
Because, we gave Houston that pick to take him instead of just taking him ourselves.
I love Baker, but man, I wanted Deshaun Watson so bad, and we just gave him away.
Yeah.
Pro Bowl quarterbacks just grow on trees in Cleveland. We just, we can pass on this one. We'll get another one.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. We hit on them every time we take a quarterback.
Every other year. It's a hit.
Yeah.
But, Speaking of quarterbacks who probably went too high in the draft, Mitchell Trubisky named the starter over Nick Foles up in Chicago. I know this makes Chicago fans super happy. How bad's Nick Foles anymore?
Think about this, though, what you just said. So Trubisky's picked number 2 overall, and he's up there trying to win a QB battle against Nick Foles.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Deshaun Watson, same draft, pick 12, I think.
Yes. Yep.
Signing 4 years, $160 million,
Well, I mean,
and then there's Mahomes after that.
Yeah, Mahomes was picked after that.
Yeah.
He just, only $500 million with a B.
So, and that right there goes to show, like, if you screw up your quarterback at the top of the draft, you got picks 1 through 5 somewhere in there, and you're taking a QB and you miss.
They traded way up to get him.
They did. Like, we hope Cleveland didn't miss. What if Sam Darnold's not the answer? And then New York set back years.
Here's my thing that I hope the Browns don't. I feel like right now, I think Mitchell Trubisky is just good enough to win a QB battle, but bad enough that I don't think he can take you to where you want to go. And the Bears are too proud to admit that they missed. And so they're just going to keep going with them. And it's going to, eventually Matt Nagy will get fired, and then Trubisky will get cut. And it's going to send them back 10 years.
Sure, and we've seen this story.
Yes, I pray that, I hope that Baker's the guy. But if he comes out this year and he's awful, I hope it's a clean cut. Do not make this mistake set us back a decade. If he's not the guy, just cut it and let's go.
So when it comes to Nick Foles, I don't think Nick Foles is that good.
No,
I really
you're
don't.
right.
I don't think he's that good.
You're absolutely right.
He had 2 good seasons with the Eagles. I got everything.
Playoffs.
Yeah,
2 good playoffs.
Yeah, so and that's it. If you look at the rest, so here, including those 2 seasons, his yards per game average as a quarterback is 205 yards per game. So not elite. Not a guy out there, is getting you 300 yards a game. And he's never thrown for over 3,000 yards in a season.
That's crazy.
So
Never for 3,000?
Never got to 3,000.
Wow.
Bad.
Yeah, he's never played. And here's another thing. Like, you're bringing this guy in like, oh, yeah, Nick Foles is going to be our starter. He's never been a starter for a whole season, ever. And he's been in the league since 2012.
I think the Jags were hoping that he was going to be that guy last year, and then he got hurt.
Didn't he have like a good quarter or a good half or something like that?
I don't even think he made it out of preseason. I don't even know.
I thought he got hurt week 1.
Yeah, he played.
Yeah, he got hurt week 1. Yeah, he got hurt week 1, got hurt at halftime, right before halftime. And then he came back, and they Gardner, I think, kind of struggled in the game. They're like, oh, well, Nick Foles back. We'll put him in. And then they realized, oh, crap, why'd we do that? We got to bench him, bring Gardner back in. So I mean, who you're saying is Gardner Minshew way better than Mitchell Trubisky?
I'd rather have Minshew than Trubisky.
I think that's splitting hairs there between those 2. Yep. So you got rid of Nick Foles and you kept Minshew. Now you're going to give him to the Bears.
It sucks to dog on Trubisky. It does, because he's a Cleveland guy. He's Ohio dude. He's one of our own. But when I watch him play, he doesn't look like he's got it.
I think he's extremely athletic, and he can do some things other quarterbacks can't do. He just doesn't throw the ball that well.
No.
That's important in that position, I'm told.
Yeah. And he's never really, if we go back and we look to kind of defend him a little bit more, if you look at his wide receiver core, he's got Allen Robinson.
But
notice that's all I said.
Yeah.
Is everybody else is 5'7" or whatnot that the Bears throw out at wide receiver. So he kind of, probably the second best wide receiver is Tariq Cohen. 4'6". Tariq Cohen is his best wide receiver. Coming out of the backfield is his number 2. They've never been, I don't think the Bears have really ever been a prolific, they're going to pass the ball. No, you think Bears, you think run and defense.
Back when they had Cutler and Alshon Jeffrey and Brandon Marshall, they're slinging around a little bit.
Yeah.
But no, I know what you're saying. And I thought Matt Nagy was coach of the year 2 years ago when Trubisky was a Pro Bowler with him.
Yeah.
And then I thought last year they went away from
everything that he did well the year before.
It was kind of like he was almost like Freddie Kitchens with Baker. He didn't do any of the stuff that Mitchell Trubisky did well. And it didn't really set him up for success. And the guy just made a Pro Bowl for you doing it this way. I didn't understand the 180 they did on offense.
It was the same year. Okay, so you had Nagy in Chicago, and everybody's like, "Man, this guy's a genius. Look at what they're doing in Chicago." And you had Sean McVay in LA, and everybody's like, "Oh my word, this guy's these two guys are going to be the future." And then both the next year kind of like fell off, and everybody was like, "Oh, well, maybe they weren't as good as we thought they were." It's like one of those things where I'm kind of high on Gurley this year. A lot of people are down on Gurley, and he's playing a different system. I said, okay, maybe Gurley wasn't as effective because he was playing in a Sean McVay system that everybody was like, oh, this is the same wrinkle that he ran last year that we game planned for, and now they can't do anything.
I think Gurley's problem is his knees aren't effective anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
His legs aren't even really that effective. Who knows? He could be okay.
The big thing with some of these coaches, I mean, when a guy comes in, they want to be the coordinator and the head coach. It does not work very well. And I do have a little, some concerns for Stefanski in that regard. But
I think it could be done, though.
You look at the really, really good teams that have done things like you say, make your offense around your star. Well, Jim Harbaugh didn't create an offense around Lamar Jackson, but he had a coordinator to do that. He's the head coach. He's managing the team. He's doing what he needs to do, but he puts a guy in place and says, make the offense around this guy. And they did it, and it's successful. I don't think Nagy, I don't think he makes it past this year.
I think he just hitched his wagon to Mitchell Trubisky, so we'll see. We'll see. Another guy who won a starting job this week. I don't know. You might want to look away, Josh. I don't know. This is really hard for you, but Cam Newton beat out Jarrett Stidham up in New England. So it's going to be a Cam Newton-led offense up in New England.
Yep.
I think it's going to be a lot different offense than what we've seen.
Oh yeah,
the last couple of years. Although I did read that what Cam Newton was struggling with in camp a little bit was like the timing-based offense they had, and I was like, well, are you guys going to like kind of switch it up a little bit, or you don't have Tom Brady anymore? You might want to try something different.
Look, all I know is the last time that I watched Cam Newton throw football, he looked like he was trying to shot put the thing. It wasn't pretty. I don't know, man. I don't know.
I think we're going to be pleasantly surprised.
I think he's going to do well.
I think he's going to do. I think he's going to be wildly successful.
I would like to see. I mean, when Cam Newton's at the top of the league, it's fun.
Yeah.
Although I think he's going to be good, but I will say it took him way longer to be named the starter than I thought he was going to take him.
Look how long it took him to find a team.
Yeah.
Look how long it took him to be named the starter. I don't know, man. The red flags for me are just saying.
So part of me says if Cam Newton showed up to camp and he was, MVP Cam Newton, they would be like, oh, this guy's a starter week one. As soon as he gets to camp. I mean, it took till game week for him to be declared the starter.
Well, it's pretty much up there. Okay, so you had two different things that you had to weigh in too. If you're a coach, if you're Bill Belichick, you're like, okay, we got Jarrett Stidham. We can kind of do the same stuff we were doing to Tom Brady. You don't have to change your offense a whole lot. Cam Newton, we got to scrap it, and McDaniels, you got to change. You got to bring in that Tebow offense from Denver.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, because that's where that was probably a big decision in that too. Hey, Stidham might not be on the level Cam Newton's on, but do we really want to change everything we've done for the past 15 years? I think that would play a factor in it. If it was my decision, I was like, okay, well, let's weigh. We have a shortened season. Now we got to change our offense. And I don't know.
Well, here's another.
I guess we'll see.
One more thing that I found interesting with roster cut downs yesterday is that New England kept Newton, Stidham, and Hoyer. When typically they only keep two quarterbacks on the roster. Like last year, they cut Hoyer and said Stidham's the backup to Brady. But this year, as of now, they're keeping three, which makes me wonder, are they concerned about Newton's injury history?
I would be. I mean, I definitely would want the insurance there because Brian Hoyer, if he gets cut, he's signing somewhere. He's gonna sign somewhere and be the backup. So you're not going to keep him.
They could stash him on the practice squad. That's kind of surprising to me.
Yeah.
So who you got in that division then, real quick? You taking the Bills? You taking the Patriots?
I'm still taking the Patriots, dude. Until the Patriots don't come out on top, I can't not.
Justin?
Absolutely Patriots.
I'm going Patriots.
I'm going Bills. Bills win the division.
I can't call you crazy.
For MVP of the year.
The Bills win the division.
I want to see them have a down year. You know, if they
not
come
only
out
is the reason, okay, so defend my point, not only the reason of Cam Newton being the offense, but all the defenders that are sitting out for the Patriots defense.
That's a big one.
That's true.
And the Bills defense is going to be just as good as it was last year. So if they score 10 points a game, their chance is like 50-50 to win.
Yep.
So
Bills have a good head coach, I think.
Yes.
I think
Yes.
he's a good coach.
So
I agree.
I agree with everything you say. I want to see the Patriots have a bad year.
And I can't knock you for that. Yeah.
And
I
then
can't.
when they have a bad year, then I'll jump off.
Right.
But until then, I gotta stay with them.
Right.
Last bit of league news before we get into some Brown specific stuff. This kind of screwed my my fantasy team. Leonard Fournette released by the Jags, and then signed a 1-year deal with the Bucks. They're saying, you know, that Ronald Jones is still going to be the starter, and it's up to Fournette to carve out his role. I'm not really buying that. Maybe maybe because he just got signed, you don't sign Leonard Fournette to be your backup, in my opinion.
So all I'll say about this is Jaguars are 100% in on Trevor Lawrence next year. They are literally, we'll get into some other things too, Browns related, but they are clearing house. And if you are a skilled player, you're probably not going to be on that team this year.
Yeah.
And then for Leonard Fournette, I've read stuff that there's attitude problems. He couldn't really gel with, coaches, other players on the team.
I mean, they're actively been tanking for like 5 years, though. That's going to wear down on anybody.
Well, hey, why don't you just throw him with maybe the best quarterback of all time, a guy that has had, personality players joined with him, like a Randy Moss, and they go out there and just win.
Antonio Brown for a little while.
Yeah. And they're hugging each other on the sideline. Yeah.
Yes, I will say that the only bad thing of Fournette going to Tampa Bay, Fournette is very talented, very talented, crowded running back room.
Big time crowded. Yep.
Ronald Jones, Arians said, hey, still our starter. Fournette's going to have to prove and earn it, which is, I think, the right thing he has to say. He can't say, Fournette's coming in, that's our guy.
Yeah, he's been here 4 days.
Yeah, that's our guy. So and that makes sense. But you also got LaShawn McCoy, and you got rookie Keyshawn Vaughn that everybody was saying is like, hey, give him like half the season, that guy's going to be your starter.
Yep.
Over Jones and McCoy that were there.
Yep.
So you got 4 running backs that you're going to want to get the ball. Wouldn't surprise me if this is a running back by committee, hot hand all year long.
Sure. My thing with Rojo is he's going into his 3rd season as an NFL running back, and he hasn't been able to carve out a solid starting role for himself yet.
Right.
The odds of him hitting and becoming this full-time 3-down back starting like stud running back is pretty low at this point.
I agree.
Agreed.
And Leonard Fournette, man, I mean, he had a pretty solid year last year for a terrible team.
He did. He played all 16 last year. And I feel like last year was that year where the effort questions and the attitude questions all got kind of flipped around, because it was, can Leonard Fournette ever have a healthy season? Can he, he not get suspended? Can he not be a jerk in the locker room or whatever he's doing on the sideline, get suspended? He played all 16.
Yep.
It's like he put his nose down last year and just worked, and it got him cut.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just really hoping that by like week 2 or 3, he's the starter in Tampa Bay. And he's getting, 20 touches, because I need that for my fantasy
You'll
team.
get it. Don't worry.
I need
You'll
it.
be fine.
It's probably going to cost me I'm going to start 0-2 now.
The nice thing is in fantasy drafts, he's dropping still down rounds where you can get him at a discount now.
Yep.
So
Before he got picked up, there were people weren't even taking him.
Right.
He was going to just straight to free agency.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
I'll take a late round flyer there.
Right.
Leonard Fournette. Yes.
So Jacksonville brought in a running back that still hasn't signed. Kind of surprising. Devontae Freeman.
I saw that. Yes.
Brought in for a tryout. Kind of surprised. I mean, he's been hurt. He hasn't played, a whole lot the last 2 years. I guess he did play 14 games last year, but I think he was banged up. Ran for 656. But his 3 years in Atlanta, 15, 16, 17, pretty good. He was, one of the, I would say, a top 15 back, in the NFL for 3 years straight.
And play with like Bortles.
Yeah.
He was kind of like, everybody knew he was going to be the only thing they could do because Bortles was so terrible.
We're not that far removed from Blake Bortles.
How about, though, the year, like the fall from grace, Jacksonville, terrible. Okay. Then all of a sudden their defense just blows up 1 year.
AFC Championship game.
And now it was like, and they were right. I mean, it was down to the wire with the Steelers.
Yeah.
Like, to go to the.
That was such a good game.
Yeah.
It was a great game, and then just nothing.
Listen, I saw this thing the other day, and it was Jalen Ramsey at the end of the game, I think against New England, that they won.
Yeah.
And he gives this speech to the crowd, and he's like, we're going to go there, we're going to win, then we're going to go to the Super Bowl, and we're going to win that blank too. And since then, the Jacksonville is just falling off a cliff.
None of those players even on the team anymore.
No. Ever since he gave that speech, it's been a complete dumpster fire. He probably just shouldn't have given that speech.
I agree.
But yeah, so I guess we'll see what happens.
Probably shouldn't have drafted Blake Bortles number 3 overall or whatever
And then they stuck with him for a long time too. And he was bad.
The Cleveland of Florida.
Well played. Well done.
All right, so that's kind of, around the league news. Like we said, a lot of stuff happened this week, and I'm sure this week, with the roster cuts, I'm sure we'll see some teams picking some people up that got cut and stuff like that, so we'll keep you guys updated. Now we'll move into some quick Browns news. We did make a trade this week to make Justin happy over here. We're not sitting on our hands anymore.
Thank God.
Traded a 5th-round pick to these Jaguars, who are just fire-selling everybody on their roster that's any good. Traded for safety Ronnie Harrison. I don't know a ton about this guy, but I was just looking up some stats and stuff. To me, it looks like we're getting a guy who might not be a perennial Pro Bowler, but we got a very solid pro that we can start or be, he's a very good backup player for us. Somebody that we kind of needed this to help with the depth.
At this point, when I saw this news come through, it was like, I don't care what his name is. What's his position? Safety? Sweet. Good with it.
Yep.
The big words you said there and all that was starter. Yeah. We got a starter. Whether it was a starter for Jacksonville, we'll see how that translates.
Who are we to?
Yeah.
Beggars can't be choosers, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I did see that Mac Wilson was excited because, he's from that Alabama championship team with Wills. So those guys are all excited. They said nothing but good things about him. So
here's how I know he's solid. Jacksonville got rid of him.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So, if he was awful, he'd be starting for the Jags.
Sure. One team says, you hurt our chances of losing.
Yeah.
So we're going to get rid of you.
This guy can help us get that number 1 pick. We got to keep him on the team. So we didn't get any of that. So
Two of the big things that I saw about that, because I didn't know a whole lot about him either. So I looked up some stuff, and two of the things I saw is his coverage, what he's able to do in coverage. Okay. So how they used him in Jacksonville is he could cover running backs out of the backfield. Okay. He can do that. And he's physical and strong enough that he can line up against tight ends.
Okay.
So he's a guy that, like, one of his big key matchups, like great game last year, is he went up against Darren Waller and shut him down. Oof. So, I mean, Darren Waller's a big boy.
Yeah, absolutely. He
so
is. Yeah.
That type of thing is because our linebackers, I don't know if they can cover anybody. So we need somebody. We need somebody to step up in that position, fill that role.
For a 5th-round pick?
Yeah.
All day, every day, man.
Not even our 5th-round pick. It was the pick we got from the Rams for trading bum Austin Corbett. So
another nice lineman we hit on.
Yes, the fact that we got picks for that guy. So we just traded Austin Corbett for potentially starting safety.
Yep.
So good move by the Browns.
Absolutely.
Because Austin Corbett's not starting anywhere.
No, we did waste a high second round pick on him.
Man, talk about, he seemed like a nice kid when I watched Hard Knocks and stuff, but
I think, I always liked him, but I don't care, man. It's football. If you can't play on the field, you just...
I don't care about being nice.
He was on TV. He had to be nice.
He was bad.
Greg Williams wasn't nice on that show, and look at how far he's doing okay.
Well, obviously the other teams cut their rosters down to 53, so did the Browns. Not a ton of surprises here, but a couple things I did want to mention. One thing I thought was I didn't exactly see coming. We kept 5 tight ends.
Dude, I was going to say the same thing.
Yep. We kept Pharaoh Brown, Harrison Bryant, Steven Carlson, Austin Hooper, and David Njoku. Obviously, we know the 3 big ones. So that just tells you everything you know about Stefanski's offense. Yep. To keep 5 tight ends, that's a lot of tight ends on your roster.
Yeah.
So obviously, the only one I really remember, other than the top 3, is Pharaoh Brown. I don't really remember Steven Carlson.
He's been in the league a while. He, I think, was in Minnesota. I think it might have been. I'd have to look up He was in Minnesota or Arizona, one of the two. He's been around.
He was on the team last year, I think.
Was he?
Yep. No, okay. He didn't play a ton, but I do remember the name.
Okay. So we'll see what happens with, 5 tight ends. Third running back, Dearness Johnson and not Dontrell Hilliard.
Yep.
So that was kind of, I saw that Dearness Johnson was having a good camp, so good for him.
I was going to say, you want to, going back real quick to Stefanski's offense, not only did we keep 5 tight ends, we still kept the fullback.
Yeah.
Usually, if you don't keep a fullback, you use an extra tight end as your fullback when you need to have one.
Well, we traded for this guy.
Yeah,
You knew
we
he
were
was going to make the
definitely
team.
gonna keep him. Yeah.
There was no way we weren't keeping him. Andy Janovich made the team as the fullback.
Yep.
I think you're going to see a ton out of him. He's going to be on the field a ton.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Receivers, just a quick focus. We kept Kadero Hodge, JoJo Natson, then Donovan Peoples-Jones made the list. So I saw we cut Ratley and Twan Taylor, who I think we picked up last year.
Yep. We
kind of had high hopes for him, and then we ended up cutting him. I've been hearing a lot about this Kadero Hodge guy. It's just like a straight burner.
Yeah, the thing so name those off again, and how many are there? Don't name JoJo.
So we had 6 wide receivers. We kept Odell, Rashard Higgins, Landry, Donovan Peoples-Jones, and Kadero Hodge.
Okay, so we got 5 guys that are actual wide receivers. JoJo's just there to be a return man.
Yeah.
He's another guy that's about 4'6", that is just super fast, but he's not. I don't see him helping us in a passing game.
So then, does it tell me? How long does he stay on this roster if Donovan Peoples-Jones takes over that spot?
Yeah, I think if Peoples-Jones, he's got to get his feet wet a little bit, get some actual game type situations in, and I wouldn't be surprised at all to see Peoples-Jones back there because I don't want to see Jarvis and Odell back there. I mean, in a game-winning situation where you're like, hey, we got to take this to the house, maybe then, but I just see too many guys get hurt, and it's just not worth it.
I agree. Moving to the defensive side of the ball, the D line up front, Jordan Elliott, the rookie, he impressed in camp. Myles Garrett, Maeda, Ogunjobi, Richardson, Vernon. Kept 8 D linemen. We're good up front, man. Eli Anku, I don't really know much about him. I think that one of the highlights of camp, though, is this Porter Gustin guy. Everything I read about camp said he was impressing a lot. So look for big things out of him this year up front. Linebackers, we kept 6. We got Goodson and Phillips, Sione Takitaki, Mac Wilson, which, I think he's going to be back sooner rather than later now, which is good. But so I think our starters are what? Goodson and Takitaki. And I think it's still up in the air between Phillips and Malcolm Smith.
Yeah, I would agree. And we cut 3. A couple rookies we got rid of, which was Jay Ajayi's brother. We actually cut him. We signed him undrafted or whatnot. But yeah, the linebacker, I was waiting for you to read off the names of who we have because I was going to say who?
Yeah.
Who?
Yeah. So that clearly the weakest part of our team,
yes,
in my opinion. Clearly.
Yep.
And then the defensive backfield, we kept 10 defensive backs.
8 of them are hurt.
The safety we just talked about, Kevin Johnson, Carl Joseph, Terrence Mitchell, Red Wine coming back his second year, Andrew Sandejo, MJ Stewart Jr., not really sure who that is, Tavier Thomas, Denzel Ward, and Greedy Williams. Please stay healthy. At least 4 of you guys, just stay healthy for us. I did read, though, coming into this week that even with the injuries at corner and stuff like that, the guys who stepped into corner is not as big of a concern as safety. Yeah,
big thing though that I was kind of shocked when I was reading. Okay, who got cut? And I'm going through and I'm like, all right, guys that stood out. AJ Green.
AJ Green. Yeah,
we've been talking about him for months about how we were like, hey, maybe this guy's got a chance to prove it. We saw something. We gave him all this money, all that stuff, and didn't make the team.
Yep, and said he had an okay camp. Had a good camp.
So, I mean, didn't make the team. Other guy that played on the field, a good bit. I think we drafted him in 2018 was defensive end Chad Thomas.
Yeah.
Was a guy that was surprising.
Porter Gustin took his spot. That's what I heard. He outplayed him all camp.
Yeah, so that was another one. Those were the 2 that kind of stood out. Everybody else, nothing really else. And Robert McCray, he kind of played some last year when Garrett was out, but nobody else really stuck out except for back on the offensive side with Dontrell Hilliard.
Yeah,
kind of stuck out on that side.
Yep.
And then the last thing I saw was special teams. Austin Seibert coming back as the kicker. I heard that camp 80% good. You know, he'd make like 10 kicks and then they'd go to team drills and he'd miss them. So I hope that's not a problem this year.
Dude, it's not the Browns if we're not missing field goals and extra points.
Yep.
I mean, it's how our season started last year. We right down the field, boom, touchdown, missed the extra point.
Yep.
And I just said, oh, crap.
It's kind of crazy to me that since we let Phil Dawson go, we have not been able to solidify that position.
Yeah.
That is crazy to me. And we drafted this guy.
Yeah, I'm still a big Seibert fan, Oklahoma guy.
Oh, of course you are.
And he's a dual threat guy. He does it, but he can do both. It's Scottish Hammer, whatever his nickname is or whatnot. And if he goes down, Seibert's a punter too. So
okay,
double dip there, Blake.
I just need him to kick field goals, man. I don't care about it. We got a punter. I need a field goal kicker.
If we ever need that drop kick, maybe he can put one through the uprights for us.
Well, hey, that concludes training camp. So, you know.
That went fast.
Yeah.
It did.
And man, I'm not going to lie, it made podcast life way nicer once training camp started.
Yeah.
We had to like quit thinking of, hey, what are we going to do this week for the show? Oh, we can actually talk about actual football that's going on. So that moves us into our Ravens preview. Mm-hmm. So our first, week one, what we're going to talk about, our upcoming opponent. I'm super excited for this. I can feel the energy in the room. Yeah. So obviously we play the Ravens this next Sunday. I think they're favored in every game.
Yes.
So if they go 16-0, it's what they were supposed to do. So
not impressive at all.
No. So we get a nice tune-up game week one against the they were defending AFC North champions, right? They won it last year.
Easily.
Yeah.
Easily.
By a game or two.
Cincinnati made a strong push at the end, but they were able to pull it off with their 2 wins.
It's a very tough matchup. Going in, new coach, new offense, new defense, going in against one of the best offenses and one of the best coach teams in the NFL. And it's a tall task to go in there. I know we split with them last year, but Lamar Jackson, it's going to be interesting to see how he does going into this year. If anything's kind of been figured out of a way to stop him, because there wasn't much to do that last year. They bring in a J.K. Dobbins into their offense. They still got Mark Ingram. They brought in Duvernay, another speedy wide receiver to go with Hollywood Brown that's already there, with Mark Andrews, a big tight end. There's a lot of people you got to try to – you can't key in just on Lamar. And I know we say, he can't throw the ball, but if you put 10 guys up in the box and you say, hey, here's a guy that's one-on-one and one-on-one, I'm just going to – if I just throw it 40 yards downfield, he's way faster than the guy covering him, so he'll be open.
That's speed, man. I feel like they don't need precise route runners on their team because Lamar Jackson's not a precise thrower.
Right.
And he just is the kind of guy where he threw for a lot of touchdowns because there's so many wide open people.
Right.
Because everybody's in the box. Obviously, like you said, they added JK. I heard that Philly Brown put 15, 20 pounds of muscle on. He looks like a beast.
Yeah.
So that's just great for us. I can't wait to see him in action. I did list some keys to the game. If the Browns want to win this game, some things I think we need to do. The first thing I put on here is I think we need to try to get ahead early, because I think you got to try to take their run game out of it, make Lamar a passer.
Yep.
If you're up 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, it becomes less of a play action pass, and he's becomes a straight drop back passer, and that's not what he excels at. So I think we got to try to get ahead early.
Make him throw. I'm with you.
Absolutely.
Make him beat us with your arm and not your entire arsenal of skills.
Yep.
So if I'm game planning for this game, okay, so what I'm doing is Browns are going to go down and score on their first possession, because we saw it last year, and it's what you work on all year, off season long. So Browns are going to go down and score. Ravens are probably going to go down and score.
Yeah.
Because those plays are. You've been running them for a week. That scenario over and over again. I think that the Ravens are going to come out and be different in the aspect of what did everybody just say? We got to stop the run. Mm-hmm. We're going to run the ball. I think that first series is going to be all about the pass. And now series 2, what are you thinking?
Yep.
Oh, well.
Oh, we got to stop the pass.
We just got carved, okay? Can't pay much attention, on the run game, and then now they just go down and score again. So I think this game it's going to be more who wins the end of the first quarter going into the second is the tail of the game. Because I think early on, getting back out there, different environment, we're going to talk about a couple fans. We're going to have 5 or 10 or whatnot when we in the first couple games.
6,000.
I forgot to mention that. Yeah, 10% capacity.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
but that won't be till week 2.
Right. It's going to be a little different, seeing that and getting in there. I think both teams go down and score, and then it's like, okay, now we're into the game. Let's see what happens.
See, and what you just said, Blake, a little bit ago was where are we really strong on defense is that line. So I'm with you, Zach. I don't think they're going to come out and attack the defensive line right away with the run game. I think it's going to be you guys are decimated in the secondary before the season even starts. Your linebackers blow. Stop us. Stop us right now because they're going to hit those mid routes with Andrews, and then you got Hollywood Brown just
It's going to be the Dover Tornado bubble screen offense or whatnot with Hollywood Brown just running for 60 yards.
So I kind of disagree just in the fact I don't think Jim Harbaugh is going to try to outsmart himself. I think he's going to say we're a powerful running football team and we have the best ball carrier maybe the NFL's ever seen. We're going to come out, we're going to do what we do, and you're going to stop us. I feel like they think we're going to run, so we're going to pass the ball. That's Freddie Kitchens thinking.
Oh, we'll see.
That would be, they think we're going to run the ball, so we're going to pass it with our running back to our fullback who's going to flip it out to the receiver. Like, that's Freddie Kitchens thinking.
So I think they're going to come out, they're going to try to establish the run game early because I think his pass game builds off of the run game. I don't think it's like a lot of teams can throw the ball to open up the pass. I think they run the ball to open up his passing game.
Well, here's the thing with this game. If you can't get down either, because you're not going to, you can't get down to this team by 2 scores and be like in the third quarter, like, well,
no way.
If we get a stop, here and we hold them. Mm-hmm. No, because they have at any point in time, this Ravens offense, if they want to, could take 8 minutes off the clock.
Also,
and I've seen, and we saw it in some games last year. I think it was when Baltimore played Seattle, I think, and Lamar Jackson, he's a smart guy. Like, he'd be running the ball, he'd get just over the first down and just fall down in bounds. Like, keep that clock moving because Seattle was like trying to push to make a comeback in that game and they just couldn't do it. Yep.
So the thing, and this is, I'm with you guys, cannot get down because we've seen Baker. This is, all right, so love Baker. Something I love and, it's tough about him is there's no throw he can't make in his mind.
Yes.
So if they get down and they have to start throwing the ball to try to come back, that's whenever Baker's like, tight window, don't care, I'm making the throw. And that's when the interceptions start happening because Baltimore's got a good defense, good secondary.
It'll be the Titans game all over again.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
People forget the Titans game was a 1-score game going into the fourth quarter, and then you turn around, we were blown out.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I said get ahead early, make them throw the ball. The second point I had was control the line of scrimmage. And this goes for both sides. I think the strength of our defense is up front, and then I want to see this retooled offensive line dominate the line of scrimmage. Let us run the ball with Hub and Chunt. Let us do this play action pass.
Hub and Chunt.
We just got both of those guys.
That was wrong
on the practice squad.
Yeah, that was wrong there, Blake. So as Blake's composing himself as he's talking about the line of scrimmage game, we have a young rookie, Jedrick Wills.
Yes,
and we have Jedrick Wills on one side, you got Jack Conklin on the other, and the Ravens brought in 2 beasts to add to their line on the defensive side. They have Calais Campbell, who was another monster that Jacksonville said we don't want to pay. Ravens got him, and then on the other side they got Derek Wolfe, who's spent his seasons in Denver, had 7 sacks last year. So they brought in 2 guys to play on the end that. It's not like we were breaking down who was playing. It's not Pittsburgh gets to play the Giants week 1.
Right.
That's not the Browns. Yep. We got one of the best teams that is a huge challenge.
And that's you got Jedrick Wills over there on the left side. It's like they're gonna hit, and he's gonna have a tough welcome to the NFL kid kind of thing.
They're gonna test him.
Oh my God.
They're gonna see if he can do it.
We're going to find out real quick. I'm not going to, you can't write anybody's script off one game. first game of their career, but you're going to find out real quick if he was ready to start right away.
Oh, yeah, because, I mean, what do you do? Jedrick Wills, can you imagine you're sitting there and then you got Calais Campbell lining up over you, and then all of a sudden here comes a linebacker, here comes a safety. You got 3 guys in front of you. Yep. Okay. Yeah, never been in this position before.
I will say our offensive system, though, in general is going to help him a lot more than our lack of offensive system helped any of our tackles last year. Yeah. We're not going to put him on an island against Calais Campbell 30 times. You know, we're gonna have a tight end next to him. He's gonna a fullback. So there's gonna be a double team, a fullback chip. There's gonna be all kinds of stuff to help him out.
Key to the game is going to be Andy Janovich or whatnot, and his help is going to be the
making
key.
holes for Chunt.
Yeah, making holes. You just made a, you put them together. Is that their couple name?
Yeah.
No. So
I like Hub.
Yeah, so we definitely have that ability now to help in that game. Not only is he going to be helping in the run game, helping create holes, but also pass protection.
Now, and you said something earlier too about, we can't get down by a couple scores or anything like that. We got to remember this is the first week. There have been no practice games. There's no preseason, nothing. These guys are coming straight out of camp, straight out of practice to a real game. So I think it is going to be, I would be, maybe if the first quarter ends 0-0, I wouldn't be shocked because this is probably going to be a run-heavy game, both sides, where that's what they both want to do. It could actually, I mean, I know I picked, obviously, the Ravens when we did our preview before that they were going to win this game, but realistically, first, this is unprecedented to just come in like this.
Yeah, there's no remember last year when nobody had this experience, nobody played, and it was a shoot 'em out type game. Yeah, we don't know. Yeah, that is a great point. Like, we just don't know what's going to happen.
And it's a divisional game.
Those are always.
There's something about divisional games, whether it's the AFC North, it just really doesn't matter. I think it's going to be a lot like how you said. I think it's both sides are going to run the ball, try to control the clock. I don't think it would be crazy if it came down to like 21-17.
Yeah, I think
at all.
I think what the Ravens did this year with this team, they saw what the Browns kind of figured them out in that game in Baltimore. Yeah. Ran all over them. Okay. With a not great offensive line, ran all over them. So what did the Ravens go out and do? Got 2 new defensive ends, drafted Patrick Queen from LSU in the first round, got their linebacker. Mm-hmm. I mean, they knew that, okay, hey, maybe run defense is where because we got good corners. We got Marcus Peters, we got Marlon Humphrey. We're all right there. But up front, we need some guys that can just hold their own on the line. Oh, and by the way, on offense, we really like to run the ball. So let's just take J.K. Dobbins. Nobody else wants him. He was slipping. Something must have went wrong. He couldn't catch passes at Ohio State, so he slid.
I can't argue with you on that.
Going back to what you said, how 21, I could see a lot of Browns game this year being lower scoring affairs because we're going to be a ball control offense. Yes. We're going to we're going to have limited amount of possessions, I think, just because the way we're going to. So that tells me that we have to make those possessions count. We can't have these 8-minute drives that get us down to, the 35, and then we have to punt or we miss a field goal. We can't go 8 minutes and then no points. Yeah, this could be some of those like boring kind of NFL games to watch where it just kind of goes on forever and it's like, or it feels like a drive goes on forever. It's kind of like when I used to play my dad in Madden. He knew it frustrated me. He'd run the ball and get a first down, and he'd take the play clock down to 1 every single time. Every single time I was like, I've had the ball once and it's halftime in the game type of a situation. That's the thing. When I said control the line of scrimmage, that's what I'm talking about for us. The best defense the Browns can put on the field week 1 is to keep Lamar off. Our best defense is going to be our offense. I agree. We need to win the time of possession. Another thing I put on here is make Jackson hand the ball off. And I know Ingram is very good, and he can make you pay, and I know Dobbins is good, but they're not even close to Jackson's level when it comes to running the ball. I'm selling out on every read option. I'm hitting Lamar Jackson. I'm making it so they don't want to run read option anymore. Coach, I hand the ball off and this dude still clean clocks me, you know, because you got to get hits on this guy. And I have, Mark Ingram, can he bust off an 80-yard run? Sure. Yeah, he can. But he's going to do it way less than Lamar Jackson can.
J.K. Dobbins can do that too.
They're way less dangerous in the open field than Lamar Jackson. Get the ball out of this guy's hands as much as you can. If it's a read option, I'm taking him every time and making him hand the ball off.
Well, and if you rattle him whenever he's out there doing his read option stuff, whenever he drops back to pass, he's going to be a little more trigger happy whenever that pressure comes because he's already been hit. A few times.
I want him throwing the ball.
Yeah.
I want to be like that Chargers that first in the playoffs where they were just like, go ahead, throw the ball. We will shut you down on the run. Go ahead. Let's see how. I'm Ravens fans. I hear it all the time. Oh, Lamar Jackson, he's such a great passer now. He evolved his game one summer. He's this great passer now. I don't believe that at all. I don't buy that.
I'd much rather lose to the Ravens and Ingram and Dobbins combined for 250, 300 yards rushing, and Lamar Jackson had 30 than being the team that I have to watch all week on ESPN for Lamar Jackson highlights because he had 180 yards rushing and he made us all look stupid. Yep. I'm selling out. Make those guys beat you. Mm-hmm. So that's one of my keys. And the last one I put here is win the special teams battle, which is a problem the Browns have always had. We can't give up like that kickoff that, gives the Ravens the ball in their own territory. Can't miss field goals, or if we score a touchdown, please don't miss the extra point, so we lose by 1 later or we're forced to go for 2 later in the game and we don't get it. Mm-hmm. Got to play smart, win the special teams battle.
Well, and I'll throw one more key out there that just hit me whenever you said play smart, don't be stupid. No dumb penalties. Yeah. Like that killed us last year. Every game it was offsides, holding, punching somebody in the face. Like, come on,
It's
guys.
been so Cleveland for so long to have penalties. Like when a team's trying to get you to jump off sides and you jump off sides and give them a first down.
4th and inches at the 25. And then
so many times.
Completely empty stadium.
Yeah.
How embarrassing will that be?
Well, here's the thing. So did Maryland say that they're going to let any fans in? Because I think that the 6,000 thing is just an Ohio thing.
Yeah, that was
right now.
Thank you, Mike DeWine, for allowing fans to come to the football games.
Yeah, that's
much
weird.
appreciated.
I've just been watching high school kids cheering in the background during high school football games all last 2 weeks, but appreciate it.
What scares me is because of the lack of preseason and stuff like that. I'm not shocked if we don't have like 10 penalties. Like a bunch of holding penalties or maybe not false starts and stuff like that, but you're more like your more fundamental type things like holdings, pass interference. I'm not shocked if we have a bunch of those.
We are going to learn a lot about Kevin Stefanski real quick.
How disciplined we are.
How disciplined. How did you prepare these guys over the summer? Because we didn't get to go to training camp. You know what I mean? Like we didn't get to see the preseason. We didn't get to see any sort of dress rehearsal. We didn't get to see any of your work on display. So here it is, guy. Now it's on display.
No fans in Baltimore.
There you go.
No fans in Baltimore.
So that's my takeaway from the games. Well, what I think the Browns need to do to give themselves a chance to win this game. Obviously, it's going to be a very tough game.
Yep.
Can we win it? Sure, we can win any game. I think, as talented as their roster is, it's not like we're bringing out a bunch of scrubs.
No, and it's professional football.
Yeah.
Anybody can win any week. We've seen it. It happens. I mean,
we'll get into our prediction here in a minute. We're going to save it for the very end.
Yep.
But so that's our Ravens preview. Let us know what you guys think. One thing we're going to do now that we have real football to talk about is we're actually going to do like a pick 'em between all of us for all the NFL games, and we're going to keep track all season who does the best. Yep. And I actually just thought of this on the fly. I think we should make this interesting, and I think losers should have to buy winner dinner.
No,
at the end of the season. Make it a little bit more interesting.
I'm all in. I'm in on it.
So where you guys take me to dinner?
I'm calling. If I win, you guys are taking me to Texas Day, Brazil.
Oh gosh.
Oh wow.
All right. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go through, and then we'll do the Browns game last before we wrap it up. So I think Zach's got the.
Justin got me all the schedule. So first game we're gonna pick. Played this Thursday night at Kansas City. We got the Texans travel to Kansas City, take on Super Bowl champs. Who you guys got? Who wants to start us off?
You just want to go around?
What direction you
going? All right, Josh, go ahead. We'll go clockwise for me. So, Josh, what do you got?
I got the billion-dollar man, Patrick Mahomes, and the Chiefs winning this one.
Absolutely, Chiefs.
Chiefs.
Yes.
Give me a Chiefs also.
Yep, Chiefs around
across the board.
Hard to take. I mean, especially at KC.
Right.
But wouldn't be shocked.
Putting the banner up.
Wouldn't be shocked though if it's a shootout game.
They already got their rings, right? Do they?
Yeah.
Are they going to put a banner up, though? Is
They're
that a thing
doing
in the
a banner
NFL?
for the fans.
How many times do you see, though, that a lot of teams get hyped for that, and then they come out and they lose the game because they...
Not
You can change your
Reed.
pick if you want, man.
Not
Right,
Andy
you
Reid.
wanna
Go ahead, change your pick. Yeah.
Hey, Mahomes
I'm
is
just trying to get you guys...
Oh, yeah, I'm good. I'm staying where I'm sticking the course.
Mahomes wasn't the only guy to get a ring, or only person to get a ring on that day.
Yeah.
He actually proposed to his, and he's got a fiance
Oh, there you
now.
go.
What a lucky girl.
Yeah.
Been with him since high school. Been with the same girl since high school.
She saw the writing on the wall.
Yeah.
She was like, this guy throws a football real far.
You're going D1?
Me too.
So, okay, next game, we got the Green Bay Packers at Minnesota.
I'm taking... Oh, good.
Go ahead, Josh. What do you got?
Somebody else go real quick. I got to think about this.
I have no problem making this pick. It'll be Minnesota.
Minnesota over
Yeah.
Green Bay.
Absolutely.
I'm also taking Minnesota. Although I am curious to see what their offense is like without Stefanski.
I'm going Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers plays with a chip on his shoulder this year.
You know what? That's exactly what I was thinking before you said that, Blake. Like Rodgers in his second year with this system with LaFleur, and now you've got brand new system in Minnesota or whatever, some new person bringing in offense. I'm going to go with the Packers.
All right, split down the middle there, 2-2.
High five.
My thing with the Packers, quick, is I don't know if they have a system. I'm not a huge Matt LaFleur guy.
Hey, they went 13-3 last year. That's
Peter
pretty
LaFleur
good.
had a better dodgeball system that LaFleur's got offensively. So we'll go into the next game. Las Vegas Raiders now at Carolina. Teddy Bridgewater and new head coach Matt Rule.
Oh, I'll tell you guys what. I'm not impressed with the Raiders. I'm picking Carolina in this one.
Yeah, I also am picking Carolina.
I'm a Raiders. Raiders.
This is a tough game because you got CMC. He does so much. I'm going Carolina at home.
Mm-hmm.
I got to see Matt Rule coach a football game in the NFL before I go with him. How many college coaches are absolute disasters in the NFL?
One thing I did see, though, that he's got a little bit of an edge right now is he's used to starting a season right off the bat without any preseason games.
Right. It's true. So we got next up Seattle at Atlanta. Seattle at Atlanta.
Give me Seattle.
Seattle Seahawks.
Also Seattle.
Russ.
Seattle. Why do all these teams get like nice, easy games for week one?
I'm also taking Seattle, even though Matty Ice at home. I think he's got some weapons. He replaced Hooper with Hayden Hurst. I think that
I just
they're
don't-
gonna.
I don't know
And
what
you
they're
got
doing.
Todd Gurley. So I mean, their offense, they got some players.
They're going to be balling out.
I was going to say they got Todd Gurley. That's why they're not going to be able to run.
Jets at Buffalo. Next game, Jets at Buffalo.
Give me the Jets. I'm just kidding. Give me the Bills. If I pick
No,
the
he said Jets. I want to see Jets.
If I pick the Jets in any game this year, I'll actually be shocked.
What if do the Jets play the Jaguars at all?
Give me the Jags, baby. Give me that Minshew magic.
Right. All right, Justin, what do you got?
I have Bills.
Blake?
Bills.
Yeah, I just picked them today to win that division, so they can't lose to the
You
Jets.
gotta,
So we got the Eagles at Washington. Little division game here. What do you guys got?
Okay. I mean, man, this one's actually tough because I'm thinking about all the injuries that Philly's dealing with and just kind of how they're always like, hey, Philly's here, and then they actually perform a lot lower. But give me Washington. Give me the football team. That's week one. Dwayne Haskins lighting it up.
I was hoping you were going to do that. Cool, because I'm going to take the Eagles.
It's the Eagles.
Washington's defense is going to be really, actually, is probably going to surprise some people.
I'm excited to watch Chase Young.
Yeah.
Heck yes,
Eagles?
man.
Eagles.
I'm going Eagles.
Yeah, I'm taking the Eagles as well. But I think that if you're listening to this and you haven't drafted your fantasy team, Antonio Gibson.
You better hurry
I
up.
picked him up
Antonio
yesterday.
Gibson,
He's going to ball out. Yes.
Everybody's saying a bunch of reports that he's the next CMC.
Yes.
So
Yep.
three down back can do it all.
That's
Just
how
free
Rivera
agency.
wants to use him.
Yep.
Right. And yeah, his old CMC's old coach. So,
Yep.
All right, next game, Indianapolis at the famous Jacksonville Jaguars.
Do we have to do this, Colts?
Indy. All right, that one was quick.
Awesome.
We'll move right on to Chicago at Detroit.
Yes.
Two playoff contenders here.
Go ahead, Blake. I gotta
I'm going
think for a
Bears
second.
because I'm not really sold on Patricia.
I'm going to go Lions because I'm not sold on Chicago at all. Any of them.
Chicago's defense is. Chicago's defense is so good.
Yeah, we'll see.
They're good, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take Detroit. I think comeback player of the year, Matt Stafford.
Yes.
I'm with you. I'm going to go Detroit. Sorry, Blake. I got to say Stafford over Trubisky, and I just think that the Lions actually do have a run game at the moment, and I don't think the Bears do.
Hey, I like when you guys pick opposite me. Puts me ahead of you guys when I'm right.
Drops you one lower.
Or you're way behind everybody. Okay, a big game here for Josh. Miami at New England.
All right. This is a tough one. I'm Patriots for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Patriots.
As much as I would love to take Miami, but I'm taking.
I do have
We're playing for
Fitzmagic
dinner
coming.
here. You got to take this serious.
I got it. I can't go against the panel there. So we got the LA Chargers at Cincinnati. Start of the 4:00 games. Joey Buckets.
I'll start it off. I'm taking Cincinnati.
Cincinnati by Justin. Wow.
I'll take a surprise pick.
The Chargers easily.
We'll see.
I'm going to go Cincinnati as well because I do not trust Tyrod Taylor.
I was actually just going to say,
him.
give me Tyrod. I'm taking
I
the
don't
You
Chargers.
don't trust Tyrod Taylor?
Nope.
He doesn't turn the ball. What do you trust about
I don't
him?
trust Tyrod Taylor out there in that new offense. I just don't do it. I don't trust it.
He doesn't do it.
Okay.
I just whatever.
Hey, when Joe Burrow scores 45 points this week, you'll be like, Zach was right. I'm another game behind him.
I will say that they lost their safety though, and that hurts.
Yeah.
Get,
Okay, so we got
Irwin. Yep.
game of the week. Game of the week. Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady. Their team initials TB at New Orleans.
Well done.
Brady
Well
versus
done.
Breeze. Week
Game of the-
one.
game of the
Division
week.
game.
In the dome.
Wow. I'm going.
game.
I'm going tie.
Nice.
All right, no. You know what? Give me Breeze and the Saints because Breeze has been there forever. This is his team. This is his city. He's going to come out. They're going to win. I think it'd be a good game. But
Absolutely. I think it's going to be a great game, and I also think New Orleans is going to take that.
Saints.
I'm going Tampa Bay. I'm going Tampa Bay. Bruce Arians led team with Tom Brady and all the weapons. I do think Fournette plays a role in week one.
So here's my thing.
Better.
So obviously Bruce Arians way better coach than Freddie Kitchens, but the Tampa Bay Buccaneers remind me so much of last year's Browns. All this hype about how good we are on paper, all these pieces. Look how good all these guys are. We have yet to. Are they going to gel? I mean, Rob Gronkowski is a great name, but he was nothing his last year in New England.
now I have read too that every time Bruce Arians gets a new quarterback on one of his teams, that quarterback struggles to start. The thing about Jameis last year. I mean, Jameis threw
struggled
interceptions
the whole year.
all the time.
His
I mean,
whole
yeah,
career.
he was a 5,000-yard passer, threw 30 touchdowns. Now he's a backup.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So-
that's my reasoning behind I'm not worried about Tampa Bay as much from their last year is how many games would they have won if Jameis wasn't thrown to the opposite team? Because their offense was very good last year, and you brought in some more pieces. Your defense was pretty good last year, and you got the ultimate game, changing quarterback to bring in. I mean, so I'm taking Tampa Bay. I'm the only one to take them. So, okay, we'll move in. Arizona at San Fran. Off the heartbreak from the Super Bowl.
Niners.
Yeah, Niners.
Okay. Even though this game here, San Fran, the way they run the ball, can't get behind. Can't go, 3 and out, and Kyler goes down, or they go down, Kyler scores, you go 3 and out. Remember, Arizona's got Hopkins now.
And remember
Do we think that they're that improved, though, on offense?
San Fran has no receivers.
No, Debo's going to play.
He's playing week one?
They said he's on track. They'll be fine.
We'll
they got
see.
the rookie. They're going to be okay.
We'll see. That'll be interesting. It's at San Fran though, so we all took San Fran. Okay, last Sunday game we got Dallas at the Rams.
I love the NFL. Thank you for making this a Sunday night game for first week. It's gonna be I love these two teams, but I'm going the boys.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy. It's a really, really good game. I think Cowboys too. Yeah, I'll give them that.
Okay, Blake.
This is tough for me because I think Dallas is definitely not as good away. But I'm going to go Cowboys. I don't know what the Rams are going to be this year. I don't know.
They're going to look better.
Yeah. I'm going different. I'm going Rams. Rams at home.
So Zach is buying somebody dinner.
Yep,
That was the toughest one for me so far.
All right, so, okay, we have Pittsburgh. They open up at the Giants on Monday night.
I hate it when Pittsburgh always gets to start out 1-0. Steelers.
Yeah, I'll take Steelers.
Yeah.
I think it'll be fun, though.
Everybody's taking Pittsburgh here.
Yeah.
Even though a lot of good things are being said about Daniel Jones going into year 2. Last game of the week, Tennessee Titans at the Denver Broncos. Denver Broncos, much improved offensive team.
Yeah, Tennessee.
Give me Denver.
Denver, Tennessee.
Blake, do you see what Von Miller said about your boy Drew Lock?
No. What do you say?
He said he's an effing rock star.
I couldn't agree more. I think Tennessee might be better, but I'm taking Denver just because I'm all in on Drew Lock.
It's all about the altitude.
Yeah, that does play a big. And here's the thing: it took Tennessee a while to find their stride last year.
Tennessee.
Yeah, it took them 3 quarters.
Tennessee and their team, great. Derrick Henry, love him.
Yep.
I think great running back. Still not sold on Ryan Tannehill. So I'm taking Denver.
Okay.
And
Well, Tannehill got to come in midway last year. Nobody was really planning for it. Everybody, so
And played
you
great.
always see kind of Nick Foles, right? You weren't planning for it. He comes in, and all of a sudden, teams are like, crap.
yeah, but after like a month, they got 4 game tapes on him, and he's been a starter in the league.
But
before.
they haven't been prepping for that guy for 4. It always seems to happen that way.
Yeah.
I agree.
How much does losing Jack Conklin hurt Tennessee?
Yeah.
I think it
that's
could
the
be
thing.
big.
Yeah.
I mean, they just lost a Pro Bowl right tackle.
Yeah.
So for a team that likes to run the ball,
Yeah. Name another wide receiver on Tennessee's team that's not A.J. Brown.
Corey Davis, but he blows.
So
I picked Corey Davis up for
it'll
like
be
a year
interesting.
last year.
I'm interested to see what Denver can do with Sutton and Jerry Jeudy and Noah Fant and Melvin Gordon and Phillip Lindsay and Drew Lock.
on offense, man, they should be loaded.
Yeah.
They really should.
Just hopefully it doesn't come down to like a field goal or something because their kicker, he was like terrible. He missed like 0 for 4 and like game tying field goals last year.
I think you tend to see too, like, so Tennessee's coming from East Coast and they're going out to Denver, mile high, the altitude and everything. I think that does play a role.
Absolutely.
It's not like it's, the Raiders coming down to play, or whatever, to play Denver where it's,
above
they're
their
closer geographically. So
All right, that wraps up the pick'em so we'll break down the records. I'll log them as we go and see where everybody falls after week 1.
All right,
I'm so pumped. We got some football. Finally.
I was jacked up yesterday about watching Marshall play. So
Dude, I watched Marshall too. I was like, go.
They look great,
Watched
man.
Memphis last night. Yeah, baby.
Yeah. I was like super jacked up on it.
Middle Arkansas State.
Yeah.
JV. I don't know.
Who cares?
I did middle school scoreboard for the football Tusky Valley Trojans on
How'd they play?
Thursday. So they played Indian Valley.
Okay.
First play of the game, Indian Valley, like 15-yard run. Second play, like 40-yard touchdown.
Ooh.
Okay, Tusky Valley. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a long game. First play, Tusky Valley, 65-yard touchdown run. I'm like, whoa! And they got the 2-point conversion. They didn't score again.
So they lost.
Yeah, they lost.
I just saw that Indian Valley though just got slaughtered by Sandy Valley.
by Sandy Valley. Yeah,
Sandy Valley's been good for a few years though now.
That'd be another thing. I know we're the Dogs podcast, but to something that maybe at some point
Take it to a high school
football is very big here in the area. And I know a lot of other radio shows make a lot of money talking about NFL or high school football. So
I like money.
Hey, if anybody wants to start a
high school football podcast,
contact me.
Get a hold of Josh.
We'll make it happen
at the podcast network here.
All right, well, that wraps up this episode. Our Ravens preview wrapped up training camp. Can't wait for games on Sunday.
Yeah. 4 days.
Yeah.
Thursday.
4 days
Thursday.
out.
That's insane. I can't wait. Thanks for tuning into the show. I didn't say it at the beginning. This was the 17th episode, so look at us go. Remember to check us out, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Please subscribe on YouTube. Make sure you check out our next episode when we give you our reaction to the Ravens game and we break down the Bengals for our Thursday night home opener, right? So make sure you're tuning in next week, and we'll see you guys after week 1.
Yeah.
Have a good week, everybody.
Go Browns.
Go Browns.